Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive in, make sure you drop your thoughts and the lessons you took from this story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. My name is Ayana, and I need to tell you what happened when I came home early from what I thought would be just another business trip. I had been married to Terrence for 8 years, and my best friend Alicia had been part of our lives for even longer. I thought I knew these people better than I knew myself. I was wrong about everything. The conference in Denver ended 2 days early when the keynote speaker canceled due to illness. Instead of extending my stay, I decided to surprise Terrence. We had been trying to have a baby for 3 years, and the stress was wearing us down. I thought coming home early with good news about a potential promotion might lift his spirits. I was buzzing with excitement on the flight home. I picked up his favorite chocolate and a bottle of wine at the airport shop. In the taxi, I kept checking my phone and fought the urge to text him. I wanted a perfect surprise. When we turned onto Maple Street, I noticed several cars I did not recognize lining the curb. Terrence's sedan was there, along with Alicia's white compact, but there were at least 4 other vehicles I did not know. Maybe it was a work thing, I thought, though it seemed odd he had not mentioned it. I paid the driver, wheeled my suitcase up the walk, and heard laughter and voices floating from the backyard. It sounded like a party. Inside, the living room was tidier than usual, with fresh flowers on the coffee table. The air smelled like something delicious was roasting. Voices drifted from the kitchen and out to the patio. As I neared the kitchen, I heard a woman mention nursery colors and another voice talk about baby names. My heart stumbled. Surely they were talking about someone else. I stepped into the kitchen and froze. Pale yellow and white streamers draped the room. Balloons bobbed against chair backs, and gifts covered the counter. A large cake sat in the center of the island, and a banner stretched across the glass doors to the patio. In cheerful yellow letters it read, "Welcome, baby Thompson." Thompson, Terrence's last name. Our last name. I stared, trying to make sense of it. Someone was having a baby shower in my home using my husband's name, and I had not been invited. People milled between the kitchen and the patio, Terrence's co-workers, a few neighbors. I could not find Terrence or Alicia. Then I heard Alicia's laugh from the backyard, followed by Terrence's voice, warm and proud, talking about becoming a father. I moved forward on unsteady legs until I could read the cake inscription. Congratulations, Terrence and Alicia. Tiny yellow baby carriages circled the edge. The gifts made sense now, the decorations, the cheerful voices. My husband and my best friend were having a baby together. They were celebrating this in my house, while I was supposed to be out of state. I slid open the patio door. Conversations faltered as heads turned. 20 people dotted the patio and lawn. Terrence stood by the grill in the apron I had given him last Christmas, looking happier than I had seen him in months. He spoke animatedly with his father and brother. And then I saw Alicia, radiant in a yellow dress, her belly unmistakably pregnant. She looked at least 6 months along. My stomach dropped. 6 months meant the affair was older than that. Months of deception layered over years of trust. Terrence walked to Alicia, laid his hand on her belly, and kissed her forehead tenderly. My mother-in-law cooed over tiny baby clothes. My own mother sat laughing with neighbors, at ease in my backyard, as if nothing about this was wrong. They all knew. Every single person present had known my husband had gotten my best friend pregnant, and they were celebrating it while I was away working. The betrayal pressed on me like a weight. I stepped outside. The laughter died. Alicia's arms wrapped instinctively around her belly. Terrence turned and saw me. "Ayana," he whispered. "You were supposed to be in Denver until Thursday." "Surprise," I said evenly. The conference ended early. I scanned the faces, people I had welcomed into my home, people who smiled at me at barbecues and holiday dinners. My mother stood, guilt creeping across her face. She opened her mouth, but I held up a hand without taking my eyes off Terrence. "I want an explanation. Right now. From the 2 of you." Alicia rose awkwardly and began. "Ayana, please let us explain." "Explain what?" I cut in. "Explain how my husband got my best friend pregnant. Explain the 6 months you are showing, which means this has been going on far longer. Explain why you chose my home, my kitchen, my backyard to celebrate the destruction of my marriage." Terrence lifted his hands like he was soothing a cornered animal. "We can talk inside. Please calm down." I laughed without humor. "Calm down. I walked into a baby shower for my cheating husband and my backstabbing best friend. In my house. And you want me to calm down? My voice carried over the patio. How long have you all known? How long have you been lying to my face? Silence spread. My mother-in-law spoke first. We wanted to tell you, dear, but Terrence thought it would be better to wait until you returned. Wait for what? I asked. To tell me my marriage is over? That you have all been smiling at me while planning this. Terrence stepped closer. It is not what you think. Alicia and I fell in love. It was not planned. We were lonely. Do not you dare put this on me, I snapped. Do not you dare say this happened because I work to support our life. Alicia's voice trembled. Ayana, I am sorry. We tried to fight it. How long? I demanded. Terrence and Alicia exchanged a look. Almost 2 years, he said quietly. The admission landed like a punch. 2 years of lies. I looked at my mother. You knew, did not you? When I called last month crying because Terrence was distant, you knew exactly why. She could not meet my eyes. We hoped it would end before you found out, she murmured. We hoped. She is pregnant, mother, I said. We are well past hope. I turned back to the crowd. You chose to protect them instead of me. Alicia sobbed harder. We want to be a family, she whispered. A family, I repeated. Well, congratulations. Terrence's brother told me to cool off before I said something I would regret. I looked at him steadily. The only thing I regret is wasting 8 years on a man capable of this level of betrayal. I faced Alicia. When did you find out you were pregnant? When did you plan this party? 3 weeks ago, she said. We thought sharing the news with everyone at once would make it easier when you got home. I stared at the banner, the cake, the gifts. You used my home for this. Terrence stiffened. This is my house too. Not for much longer, I said. Everyone out. Take your gifts, your decorations, your cake, and get out of my house. My mother reached for me. Do not make decisions while you are upset. I stepped back. Time for what, mother? Time to accept that the people I trusted most lied to me for 2 years. I looked at them all, etching their faces into memory. Remember this moment. When people ask how our marriage ended, this is how. I walked inside. The patio behind me fell into frantic whispers and hurried packing. Upstairs, I hauled out a suitcase and threw clothes into it without caring what I grabbed. My hands shook. 2 years. 2 years of Terrence kissing me hello after leaving Alicia. 2 years of Alicia calling me her best friend while sleeping with my husband. Terrence appeared in the doorway. Ayana, please. We need to talk. No, I said. We need to talk to lawyers. Do not be ridiculous, he said, stepping in. We can work this out. People make mistakes. Marriages survive infidelity. I met his eyes. Infidelity is a mistake. You built a second life. You got her pregnant. You let me think I was the problem when we could not conceive. He flushed. I never said that. You did not have to. I zipped the suitcase. We are done. He moved to block the door. Where are you going? None of your business, I said, pushing past him. He followed me down the stairs, pleading for counseling. Work through what? I asked. That you are about to be a father with another woman? That you lied to me every day for 2 years. I grabbed my purse. Is Alicia still here? He nodded. She wants to talk. I do not. At the front door, he said, please give me a chance to explain privately. I turned back one last time. You had 8 years to be honest. You had 2 years to end our marriage before this. You chose deceit instead. I left and checked into the Hampton Inn across town. In the quiet of the room, grief overtook me. But beneath the grief was relief. My instincts had not been wrong. 3 months earlier, when I first suspected Terrence was cheating, I had quietly consulted a divorce attorney to understand my options. I had collected copies of bank statements, mortgage papers, investment accounts, and receipts, just in case. On Monday at 9 o'clock, I sat across from Patricia Carter in her office. She remembered me. I am sorry it came to this, she said. But you prepared well. Patricia laid out the facts. This is a no-fault state. His adultery does not control property division, but the finances are strongly in your favor. You purchased the house with your inheritance. You made the down payment. You have paid the mortgage, insurance, taxes, renovations, all from your income. Your salary is nearly 3 times his. You funded the investment accounts and both cars. She leaned forward. He has been living a lifestyle funded by you while carrying on an affair. Courts do not smile on that. Regarding spousal support, given the disparity, he might try to seek temporary support, but his conduct and the impending child complicate that. She slid over another document. There is more. He used the credit card you pay for to take Alicia out and cover prenatal appointments. He used my money to fund his affair, I said. Patricia nodded. Dissipation of marital assets. We will seek reimbursement. Rage cooled into clarity. How fast? I asked. I can file today, she said. Given the circumstances, I expect this to move quickly. He will be served within 48 hours. He will likely panic and beg. Be prepared for a whiplash from contrition to hostility. What about the house? I asked. Patricia smiled slightly. It is your separate property. He has no claim. We will have him out within 30 days of service, possibly sooner. I signed the papers and paid the retainer. When I left her office, I felt lighter than I had in months. Control, for the first time since the backyard, had returned to me. He was served on Wednesday afternoon and called me 17 minutes later, panicked. Ayana, what is this? You cannot be serious. I am completely serious, I said. We cannot throw away 8 years over one mistake, he said. You threw them away when you started sleeping with Alicia 2 years ago, I replied. He inhaled shakily. You want me out of the house in 30 days. That is unfair. It is my separate property, I said calmly. I purchased it with my grandmother's inheritance. I paid every bill attached to it. He tried blaming my travel and workload for his loneliness. I did not let it stick. You used my credit card to buy gifts for your pregnant girlfriend, I said. That is not love. That is theft. He began to cry, promising to end things with Alicia and go to counseling. One mistake, I said. She is 6 months pregnant with your child. You cannot undo that. He insisted he wanted to be a father with me, that we could try again at the clinic. The audacity left me cold. No, I said. You have 30 days. Use them. The calls started next. My mother, his brother, his sister-in-law. Everyone urging patience and forgiveness. None of them asked what I wanted. I turned off my phone and sat in the hotel room staring at the parking lot lights. The clarity was sharp. They wanted me to be gracious so Terrence and Alicia could have a tidy story and an unbothered life. They wanted me to make suffering pleasant. I decided that night I would not disappear. I would fight for what was mine and for the dignity they had all tried to deny me. The divorce finalized 6 weeks later, quicker than Patricia predicted. Terrence did not contest. I kept the house, the investment accounts, both cars, and my retirement. He got his personal belongings and a stern warning about dissipating marital assets. The real shock of consequences arrived when he tried to rent. He called 3 days before his deadline. I cannot find a place. I keep getting denied. That is not my problem, I said. Please, he begged. Lisa's apartment is too small for both of us and the baby. I need a few more weeks. You had 6 weeks, I said. What have you been doing? He had discovered what life looked like on $45,000 a year in a city where a one-bedroom cost far more than he had imagined. Look further out, I suggested. I cannot afford the commute, he said. For 8 years he had eaten at restaurants I paid for, driven a car I bought, lived under a roof my income maintained. This is the true cost of your choices, I said. He asked where he should go. I suggested the relatives who had been so eager to scold me. After a pause, he admitted they had all told him no. I almost laughed at the symmetry. Now you know, I said and hung up. 3 days later, I checked the house. His things were gone. Keys on the counter. A note, I am sorry. Word reached me later that he had rented a studio in a rough part of town and sold his car to get out from under the payment. For the first time in years, he was living within his means. I let that fact settle and did not think about him again for a while. 2 months after the divorce finalized, an unknown number rang. I answered without thinking. Ayana, it is me, Terrence said, voice shaking. I am not asking to get back together. I got evicted. I could not make rent. I am sleeping in my car. Despite everything, the word homeless hit me in the chest. What about Alicia? I asked. He laughed bitterly. We are not together. She was pregnant. Past tense. I sat down hard. What do you mean? She lost the baby 6 weeks ago, he said. 2nd trimester miscarriage. The room went still. Whatever Alicia had done, losing a child is devastating. I am sorry, I said, and meant it. He continued. After that, everything fell apart. She told me the only reason she stayed was because of the pregnancy. Without it, there was nothing. Alicia's pattern did not surprise me. She had always preferred men who could provide the lifestyle she wanted. So she left, I said. She filed for divorce, he replied. After 4 months. She wants spousal support. The irony was almost too perfect. Terrence took a breath. I have nowhere else to go. Could I sleep on your couch a few nights? I will pay you back. The audacity was staggering. You want to stay in the house where you planned a baby shower with your girlfriend, I said. I know how it sounds, he said. My family will not take me in. The same people who had chastised me about forgiveness had suddenly developed boundary lines when inconvenience brushed their door. I remembered his excuses the night of the shower, my travel, my hours, and felt my resolve harden. Do you know why I worked so hard? I asked. He hesitated. To be successful? To take care of us, I said. I built a life for us while you used the security I provided to destroy it. He cried harder. I know I ruined everything. Yes, I said. And now you are living with the reality you chose. I told him no. He hung up in silence. 3 weeks later, I ran into Alicia in the cereal aisle at the grocery store. She had lost weight, shadows under her eyes, her posture fragile. For a moment, we just looked at each other. Ayana, she said softly, I am glad I ran into you. I have wanted to talk. I stared. Why? Because there are things you should know, she said. Not here. Could we get coffee? We sat in a small cafe a few blocks away. She ordered tea and held the cup like a lifeline. I want to start by saying I am sorry, she said. I know it does not fix anything. I said nothing. Terrence lied to you about the timeline, she continued. He said 2 years. It started 3.5 years ago, about 3 months after my divorce finalized. The dates remapped too many memories. Our anniversary trip, the holidays when I thought we were reconnecting, the months I believed we were building toward a family. Why tell me now? I asked. Alicia's eyes watered. Because after I lost the baby, Terrence showed me who he is, and I realized he would do to anyone what he did to you. She swallowed. 3 days after I got home from the hospital, he suggested we might not be compatible long term. The cruelty took my breath. He left you while you were grieving, I said. He said the pregnancy was an accident, she whispered. And without it, there was no reason to be together. Before he left, he asked if I thought you might take him back. My jaw dropped. He what? He said he had made a mistake leaving you and wondered if you would forgive him. I stared at my cup, seeing the backyard banner again in my mind. When I told him absolutely not, she said, he got angry. He blamed me for ruining his life by getting pregnant. He said if I had not forced a choice, he would still have his comfortable life with you. She met my eyes. He destroyed your marriage long before I got pregnant. He just used me as a cover. He told the judge he could not afford spousal support, she continued, because you took him for everything out of spite. I almost laughed. There was nothing of his to take, I said. I paid for everything. I know, she said. I looked it up after court. Ayana, he does not love anyone but himself. Everything is calculation. When it stops benefiting him, he moves on. What will you do now? I asked. Move back in with my parents until I get back on my feet, she said. I start a new job next month. She paused. I hope one day you can forgive me. Not for his sake, but for yours. I drove home thinking about Terrence calling from his car. Even desperate, he had been looking for a way to use me. That realization felt like a door closing for good. 6 months later, I saw Terrence one last time. I was having dinner downtown with a colleague when I noticed him alone at the bar. He looked older and smaller somehow, the confidence gone from his posture. I almost ignored him, then walked over and sat on the empty stool. Hello, Terrence, I said. His face flickered through surprise, shame, hope, and finally resignation. I did not expect to see you here, he said. He gestured around. It was a decent place, not the kind we had frequented while I was paying. How are you doing? I asked. He laughed without humor. How do you think? I am 42, living in a studio that smells like mold, driving a car older than my nephew. I spend weekends at the laundromat. I heard about the miscarriage, I said. I am sorry. He stared at his drink. Are you really? About the loss of a child, yes. He nodded. Alicia told me she saw you. She told you when it started. I nodded. I am a monster in her version, he said. No, I replied. You are simply honest in hers, which is more than you were in mine. He sighed. I had everything and threw it away because I thought I deserved more. You were generous, hardworking, loyal. You carried me without making me feel small. And I repaid you by cheating for 3.5 years and humiliating you in your own backyard. I asked what I had not given him that sent him looking elsewhere. He was quiet a long time. You were not doing anything wrong, he said finally. You were perfect. That was the problem. You made more money. You were more successful. I lived every day waiting for you to realize you could do better. I sabotaged it before you could leave me. So you destroyed our marriage to protect your ego, I said. I destroyed it because I was a coward, he replied. He took a sip. Now I sit in a chain restaurant on a Saturday night, drinking alone because I cannot afford nicer. Alicia blocked my number weeks ago. She is dating her new boss, someone who can take her to the places she wants to go. The symmetry would have been funny if it were not so tired. People who used people, circling each other like traders at a market. Do you see the pattern? I asked. You left me for Alicia because she made you feel like a catch. She left you for someone who could give her what she wanted. None of it was love. It was transaction. He set his glass down. I know this is insane to ask, but is there any chance you would give us another try? I stared. After all that, he still believed convenience might win. No, I said, standing. You have not learned anything. Even now, you are trying to use me because your life is hard. You do not want me. You want relief. I picked up my purse. I hope you figure out how to be content with your own choices, Terrence. That is not my responsibility anymore. I went back to my table and never spoke to him again. That was 2 years ago. Life did not collapse. It clarified. I was promoted to regional director 6 months after the divorce, and my work became sharper once I was no longer carrying the weight of his betrayal. I renovated the house from floorboards to paint. I turned his office into a reading room, rebuilt the bedroom to my taste, and planted a garden where the baby shower had been. I started traveling for pleasure instead of solely for work. New Orleans, Chicago, Santa Fe, and a long, restorative weekend in Atlanta for a conference where I presented. I ate at restaurants without doing the math in my head. I bought the dress I loved without asking anyone's opinion. Every decision was mine again. The quiet of the house became not emptiness, but peace. I began dating again. His name is Caleb. He is a doctor I met at that Atlanta conference. He is financially independent, emotionally steady, and transparent in a way that makes deception impossible. He is with me because he loves my company, not my bank account. When he leaves his coat on my chair, it is because he is staying for dinner, not because he plans to move in by osmosis. My family learned what it means to choose sides. I cut contact with my mother for 8 months. When she apologized and stopped making excuses for other people, we began to rebuild. We are different now, but honest. Terrence's family never apologized. That told me everything I needed to know. I did not need closure from people who had chosen their comfort over my dignity. Terrence texted on what would have been our 10th wedding anniversary. I am sorry. I hope you are happy. I read it and deleted it. Happiness did not come from his remorse. It came from the garden in bloom, the hum of the dishwasher at night, the click of my heels on the tile as I poured a glass of wine and opened a book in my reading room. The day I stepped into that backyard and saw the banner, I thought my life had shattered. It had not. It had fractured along a false seam, and what fell away was the part that did not belong to me. What remained was mine. When I stand among the roses where the folding chairs once were, I remember the silence after I told them to leave, and I smile. Terrence lives with the life he chose. Alicia lives with hers. I live with mine. That is the whole story. The door closed, and on the other side of it, the house was quiet. I slept through the night for the first time in months. In the morning, I opened the curtains, let the light in, and began. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.